So just showing the top 10 charts that I follow. These are a must to have on your watch list so you know what's going on, because they're just the main drivers of the whole system. Now, you might think that it's all like individual markets, but the whole thing is one giant machine, and it's all intertwined, and it's all if you're only just looking at one thing, then you're not really getting the full picture of what's going on. So you need to follow more than just the charts that you're familiar with or whatever, or you need to get an idea of what the whole thing's about, so you can make informed decisions about it, because Forex and stocks and commodities and everything, it's all combined in one. It's all interlinked. They're not separate markets. They don't exist in a vacuum on their own. They're all intertwined. So S&P 500. So all the codes, just search the codes. They're all up here. Put the search in and get the same. Make sure you got the same one that I've got in the search, and just follow these. Put annotations on it. I see people all the time. I say, "Where's your annotation? Where's your trend lines and your arrows and your text notes and everything on your chart?" "Oh, I didn't put that on. I don't put that on my charts." Well, you have to put it on there, and you have to know where you are in the scheme of things. That's why you're just looking at the chart and you're not seeing anything, because you don't know where you are from one day to the next with it. You've got to get to know it, and put the annotations on it, and see what the chart's doing. Follow it very closely, and so that's the sort of thing. You've got to put your weekly. For these ones, just use the weekly, daily, and 4 hour. So weekly, daily, and 4 hour. That's the only ones you need to just look at. I just want you to look at these mostly on these time frames. Don't worry about the smaller time frames. If you're working full time, that's going to be too much for you to look at. I just want you to follow these on the larger time frames and get an idea of what's going on with them. So look at the volume profile, look at the price, what price is doing on the different time frames, and the MACD is the MACD above or below this zero or centre line, as I call it. This now is oversold here. It's on support on the S&P 500. Could get a bounce off this now. I'm using the normal candles in this case, just to see. I flip between the. As I said, my method runs off the Heikin Ashi candles, but I like, when I get to support like this, I also like to see what the normal candles look like, so you can flip between the normal candles, the Heikin Ashi candles, and see what's going on. Look at the point of control here. That point of control has acted as support as well. So this is all very interesting. You can't sort of just, if you're just in trading just to make money, you'll probably do the exact opposite. You'll probably do anything but make money. You've got to love it. You've got to enjoy it. If you're trying to save up for a wedding or something and trade to make money for that, then you'll probably do anything but, you'll probably lose the whole lot, because your motivation was greed. It wasn't the interest in trading. Your motivation was greed. You can't come into trading with a motivation of greed. You've got to love the whole what trading is. So junk bonds, I've said this so many times, junk bonds have a strong relation to the S&P 500, and look at this support here, right on support. It's a minor support back here, but it's still a support though, and you just, like, junk bonds selling off, because yield and junk bonds rising, and look at that massive volume candle there, the red volume there down to that support there. That's really interesting. So you make notes about it. You say when you come back to look at it tomorrow, you can say, "Oh yeah, what was I looking at? Oh yeah, I wonder what that happened. what happened with that support there on that big red volume candle. So you just make short notes about it. So junk, that one is JNK, and VIX is obviously the volatility index. This measures the implied volatility in the options market. Right? So when this VIX rises, that means that the stocks are bearish, because the implied volatility in options is rising. And you've got, it's all the same rules that apply to the other charts. CBOE, VIX, that one, and you need to follow all these on a daily basis. Nasdaq is down to a key support here now on the daily. It's down to the top of the Kumo here on the point of control here on the weekly. So this is all stuff that you need to be looking at and getting to understand it. The more you look at it, the more you're going to pick up. And stochastics oversold there to the bottom. Could still break through this support though, you don't know. You don't want to make any assumptions about it. The 4 hours, Google got smashed because of what happened over the weekend, so a bit of a fiasco over the weekend saw Google well down this week, and it's mostly the FANG stocks are mostly driving the Nasdaq down because they were overbought, and now they're selling off hard. Russell 2000 RUT is the code, Russell RUT. So Russell is the small caps, the US small caps. So this is can often lead the larger indexes, and can be leading. The small caps can often sell off first, and just an interesting one to see there's a bit of balance. You don't need to worry about the Dow Jones because that's only 30 stocks in the Dow Jones. You don't need to really look at that. It doesn't really tell you a great deal. Nikkei, JPM 225 is the Nikkei. The Nikkei is down to a key support here as well. The Nikkei goes down when the yen goes up. So look at that massive reversal at the start of May there. That was nice, real nice. That Nikkei's a real good one to trade. It's very liquid, and tells you a lot about what's going on. If the yen's been bought as a safe haven, the Nikkei will be down, and the yen was bought as a safe haven right here. So that's why the Nikkei sold off, and it's a real good one. Very important to follow the Nikkei. The DAX, German 30 is the DAX. The DAX is obviously the major market of Europe, so that's why it's very important to follow the DAX. And you can see this has had a very nice reversal here in May also, it's down testing the 100 MA now. The weekly is just about to turn over, so it should have more downside in it to go. And Bund, Euro Bund is a very nice one. It's highly liquid as well. Nice double bottom there, and then it just went boom straight up. And the yields have plunged. I think the yields are a record low. I'm pretty sure that it's a record low for the yield on the Bund, and it's just gone. It's just mostly institutional buying here, but that Bund is an oil. Oil is down to this key support here, right, as well, off that nice weekly double top, and then it went into a distribution here on the weekly. So it's now the MACD on the weekly's crossed down, and the daily. Now there's a good a weekly report on oil, which is on Macro Voices. They do an hour-long presentation on oil. It's absolutely fantastic. It's an institutional report for institutional traders, so it's very high-level information, and it's really worth listening to that. macrovoices.com, and you'll see the special oil report. You can just listen to that and look at the volume was huge here, and then the volume, that candle there was quite a low volume, so that's what you want to look at. You want to listen to the fundamentals on this report as well, what they're talking about, because I've learned heaps already, and there's only about 4 episodes or something out. I think there's 4 episodes. They only just started doing this report recently, so to get that information for free is phenomenal. And 10-year yield, that's the US 10-year yield, and bonds are obviously up. When the yield is down, bonds are obviously bid as a safe haven, so that's telling you a lot about what's going on. The yield has absolutely plunged here, and it's also a good one to trade as well, the 10-year, US 10-year. A lot of institutional traders trade, and they're the main ones that you want to be looking at. So just to give you an idea, that you want to make a watch list up just with these 10 on it, and really focus on it. Really look at look at the weekly and daily, and the daily and 4 hour. That's mostly what you want to look at with those. And don't be afraid to put annotations and text notes on it and everything for yourself, so you know what you're looking at and you can follow it. And just get into the habit of looking at these, going through this and looking at it once a day and following what the price action's doing, and get a feel for it. It's the only way you're going to learn to trade is to spend time looking at the charts and get to know what price action does on each of these. So and look for major structures like these consolidation support, and then it breaks down, and then all this sort of thing. This is a downtrend here, but it's a consolidation, and then it's a downtrend again, then it's a consolidation, then it's a downtrend, because the MACD was crossed down, and all that time, and that's about it for now. Just if you get to know these, then you'll be off to a good start, because these are the main ones that, if I had to pick 10, that would be the main 10 that I'd say to look at. Alright, bye for now.